everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. It is your 5th Suits LA episode review. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world. I have been very critical, I guess, on the show so far. 4 episodes fully reviewed, and it's not quite set to the parameters I was kind of expecting it. I'm pretty sure, like, for me, it was in my internal brain thing is that this is another Stephen Amell-led show. He did great on Arrow for majority of it. He killed it with Heels. That for me, I was very much like, this is going to be another banger. Like, somehow it's going to win. And 4 episodes in, I've been very lukewarm at best. I think that would be my best reaction to it. And at least from what I ended up seeing, it was just, again, it's not quite the quality I was expecting. It's not quite the residency I did. But now coming into here, we're in episode 5. So the first 5 are over. The first full set beginning of the season, in my opinion, it has come to a close. That I want to say wholeheartedly, I think this was probably the best episode of the season so far. I think we've established a lot of lines in story. We've had a lot of weird developments for me to kind of witness where things are at right now with the characters. That at the end of it, I think it's starting to pay off a little bit. We're getting character moments that are paying off. We're starting to see real, genuine development. I was actually captivated for once with the show, because normally, to be completely frank with you, considering how the recording schedule is at times, I have to watch this on Peacock. I'm not watching these episodes live. And then with this one, like, having to watch it on Peacock, I was kind of half expecting this might take a while, because, for me, I've never quite been like, I'm going to fully sit down and watch it. I would honestly go do something else. Like, maybe we get to the second ad break. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do something quickly for work. And then I bounce back over to the show. This time I was actually very much kind of like, I want to see what happens, because it very much has finally set up a lot of things for me that it's starting to like really begin some of the real like attraction to it, and I think it paid off. I really think it did. I think for 100%, this is the best episode of the season so far. I definitely believe 100% that we are starting to get somewhere, and that I'm starting to really feel invested in the characters, in the story, and I want to know a little bit more about it, and I think that's a really positive sign for me. Having watched so much in the TV zeitgeist already, that like, for me to start to have those feelings is great, and I honestly cannot wait to see where things go in the next week's episode. In the next episode, as now how it all ended, I'm very curious to see like where does it go to, and I'm really excited for it. And I'm honestly like, though now that we've reached the turning point, and I'm like I haven't had that feeling since Perry Mason back in 2020. I didn't think I would ever get it again. At least everything with a show, I've always been kind of captivated within that first 2 episode slot. But for it to go this far, and now finally, it's not quite perfect. We're very much still getting there. But this episode, very much like, I really felt like this finally is starting to get a hook in me. And I'm like, that's good. That's very, very good. And I'm very excited to see where things might go from there. But with all that being said, let's go for the Butcher Week. I'm going to talk about this week's episode of Suits LA. So we begin at Ted's house. He is going over his opening statement with Samantha and Amanda at the same time, which is a little bit awkward, because they're in the fact, obviously Samantha's his ex-girlfriend and Amanda is kind of his current. We have a vibe between them in terms of like, obviously Ted does have like some sort of romantic attraction to her. And as soon as the draft of the statement finishes, they both praise him and said that was great. You're gonna nail it. And suddenly, obviously Ted just goes switch into like, okay, so what do we do now? And then like, well, it's clear, obviously we have sex. And I'm like, wait, what? There's absolutely no way that like this doesn't even happen. Yeah, this is a dream sequence for Ted, which I'm like, That was my only downspawn of the episode. I really didn't vibe with this, to be honest with you. It didn't quite feel like we were set up as a show to have these sort of things. And yeah, it was kind of like probably misleading the audience in the promos. They're like, oh, Ted and Amanda are finally going to kiss, that they're finally going to admit their urges to each other. And that wasn't the case. And like, for me, I think that was the only thing I was not really happy about it, to be honest with you. And yeah, I wasn't really much of a fan. Even like by the time he woke up and he threw his alarm clock, I get what the vibe they were going for here. And if I feel like if it was a different type of show, I think it would have hit better for me. But like, at least where they were trying to paint in this current context, it didn't really quite do it for me, to be honest with you. And yeah, so I wasn't really 100% vibing with that, just to be frank with you. So from that point onwards, so yeah, we wake up the next day. I believe we're just straight into so Ted's coming into work. He runs into Samantha, obviously being a little awkward since technically in his dream they just kiss, which I'm like, that's so sweet. When you have a crush on someone and you kiss them in your dream and you see them in real life but you haven't kissed them, and it's like, it's a little awkward, to be honest with you. But Ted's trying to, roll past it, roll with the punches here, as he is very much trying to play the ignorance card on it a little bit, even briefly ignoring her while she's kind of just trying to make small conversations with him. So he moves on back to his office. Kevin's already sitting there. He's like, you got another one. And then Ted doesn't confirm or deny it. And then they get a very nice treat to New York bagels, which again, they live in LA. So obviously it's a bit, a bit weird for them to be receiving it, so they're kind of confused, where this is coming from, who sent this, and they're trying to crack the code. And even we cut over to Stewart's office, where he also received New York bagels. So I'm like, it's kind of clear who did it, really, but we'll touch upon that later on in the episode. As he's enjoying it, Samantha comes in, kind of teasing him about it, yeah, you really can't get bagels out here from New York. And they're joshing around a little bit, just kind of talking about things. And it's kind of another morning in the offices, basically speaking. This is kind of where I get lost a little bit. I remember now. Ted goes downstairs to, no, actually, Ted doesn't go downstairs. He goes to Samantha's brand new office, which was Stewart's old office, and he really liked what she did with it, kind of making it her own. And this is where Ted officially asked her to join him on his team for the defense for the case, which is starting today. Which initially she denies it, but then once Ted pulls out the whole, this is a really big case, I thought you were on my team, and Amanda was like, no, I was always on your team. I just wanted you to, officially ask me before I just show up to the courthouse. It doesn't make sense for me to go if I'm not invited, or at least if I'm not asked. So she's coming on board for that. And I want to say we just go straight into it. We get to the courthouse. The prosecutor's already going through their opening arguments, immediately trying to badmouth the producer. And then as soon as Ted goes into his opening arguments, she immediately stops everything and says, I have a brand new motion I want to get through now, that I want to get approved before we go anything further into the case. The judge summons them to his chambers, in which she admits, and she reveals that there was just a recently posted article in the paper that apparently confirms that the producer and his wife were almost on the verge of a divorce, that there were divorce conversations, and that she thinks this would be very much going to build into the character progress for the producer. So she wants to admit that she wants Ted to hand over the transcripts from those proceedings for her investigation, which honestly Ted is immediately insulted by, considering the fact that that was a very private conversation. No one should have leaked that information, but it did. And then now between them, they're just kind of figuring out, oh crap, what do we do? Because technically it is now public knowledge, and that the jurors can go at any time period, because again, we are a social media connected world, and find that article that will sway their opinion. So might as well include that in the court case, so that they already have that, more explanation than not to it. And the judge does rule, okay, you know what, provisionally, I will approve your motion, pending final approval after Ted's opening statement tomorrow. So Ted goes with Amanda, saying that this was not in plan. So Ted asked Amanda to go and find however the hell this was leaked, because there's absolutely no way that anyone that Ted and obviously the producer couldn't have leaked it. So definitely this is leading into one personal side, which we'll get to just actually right now. Ted heads over to Stewart's office, which I'm just like, the way they're walking into each other's like, well, at least Stewart hasn't walked back into the original firm yet, but like, at least here where like Ted and Ted has just casually walked into this firm that is not his. I don't know if there's a stipulation in the contract since he was supposed to be part of the merger if he's just allowed on the premises, but normally you would need like a badge because like obviously if anyone could just walk into this law firm, then like obviously anyone could just, you know, come in and just, you know, wreck shop, basically speaking. So yeah, so not quite exactly what I was picturing, but yeah, so Ted just walks in, immediately accuses Stewart of leaking the information, which immediately Stewart denies it, because, like, what would he have to gain to it? And, you know, Ted just suddenly uses back the whole, like, oh, because, like, you're still mad at me, you're still looking for any excuse to fuck with me, and so you leaked it to the press so that you can basically make my life a living hell with my case right now, which Stewart yells at him for like even thinking about accusing him of like compromising his integrity just to get back at Ted, and even Stewart has to kind of interject a rebuttal in which he says like, I think you're only mad. You only want an excuse to come down here and yell at me some more because you know you're still mad about me basically locking you out of a merger with your own ex-girlfriend, and that's when Ted throws a punch at him, which Rick witnesses the entire thing come about. And Stewart's about to charge over him. Rick does hold him back. However, Ted's like, no, let him come out. Let's settle this. So the two start fighting for like a half a second before Samantha comes in and breaks it up between them, kicking Ted out of the progress and looking at Stewart with disappointment as a result of it. I believe I want to say Ted goes back to the firm and meets back up with Kevin, as well as with Amanda, kind of trying to get an update on the land of the situation where it's a little bit weird considering the fact, again, if, you know, obviously Stewart's denying it and then his usual representative is usually very much like 100% an ironclad source, would never leak the information publicly. So essentially, how does she get access to this information is still unclear. But however, Amanda does chime in because of, you know, her previous experience with the specific prosecutor that she already knows what she wants. She just needed a way to get this admissible in court without raising further suspicion. So that is the goal, but now they got to find who the reporter is and kind of, you know, get that information out of him to figure out what the hell's going on with that regard. I know there's a small thing between Leah and Ted's assistant, as apparently Ted's assistant found in the copier machine Leah's recent draft of her resume, which obviously she gets embarrassed by. In which, like, say, oh, like, just in case if Ted loses the case, then the whole, you know, criminal defense aspect of this firm is down the drain, and you're just going to leave as soon as, like, we start losing a lot of money. So this is what you're trying to get to, which Leia doesn't deny, but at the same time, it's like, it's not against policy, like, you know, just be forward thinking. And she's like, no, but, like, you know, I will let you know that, you know, this shows your loyalty to us, that, like, yeah, if something like this does go wrong, we cannot count on you. You're just not trustworthy. So they leave it at that for now. We'll try and back in on her just a little bit later. I want to say, does that end the first night of the case? I'm trying to remember. Even Kevin says, hey, look, give me a deadline. I will try to find the source of this information relatively quickly and soon. So don't worry about that. Stewart has a meeting with Samantha in her office. Samantha's not happy with Stewart whatsoever, you know. Despite, yes, Ted came in, threw the first punch, instigated the whole situation, that Stewart did not politely diffuse the situation by exiting the room. He kept going. He kept encouraging this, and even like she did overhear the line about the whole that he is using the whole merger and Samantha as, like, you know, the excuses supposedly that Ted is using to justify his actions right now, which he does not find value, and she doesn't. And he does apologize. He just said whenever he's passionate about his work that he does get like that, and he say that it will not happen again. That it will not. But she doesn't quite take his word fully seriously at this point in time. We cut over back to, I don't believe there's anything else. And I think we just get the first flashback where Ted and Kevin are having some lunch or breakfast. I'm not 100% certain what they're having. And yeah, Ted's officially ready to finally pop the question to Samantha, ready to propose, ready to start building a real life with her and everything. And while Kevin's very happy about it, he's also obviously asking the obvious question, what does Eddie think about this? And Ted's like, well, I don't want to tell him something that it's not confirmed yet. I don't want to get his hopes up because maybe she could still say no by the end of it. So, which is a very valid point. You know, you don't want to tell everyone like you're going to propose and it's going to be a yes until like, you know, you actually, you know, get that done. Eventually, I want to say Kevin says like a your mom joke, and Ted just kind of like, I'm not dealing with this childish behavior. I'm out of here. You can go pay for our breakfast. And yeah, that was pretty funny to see. Oh yeah, for even during that talk, Ted asked Kevin if he could distract Samantha while he's getting their household ready for the proposal. As a favor to him, at least. I want to say from there we cut back over to the present day. I can't remember if we're quite at the next day of the trial yet. I can't remember 100%, but we will go with it. Where Ted and Amanda are waiting for the producer to show up. He doesn't, and by the time the judge is about to begin the first proper day of deliberations, that Ted's like, oh well, he's not here, and you know, I just assumed that because this was just like trying to like knock out that potential admission, that he just felt like he didn't need to come. And for the judge, it's like, no, like it's his case. He's the subject. He's gonna be here. So tell you what, I'll give you an extra day off, but like if he doesn't show up here by tomorrow, I 100% will say he will be here going forward for the rest of this trial, but in cuffs and chains. So he best kind of keep himself scheduled with his apologies, with his punctuation. So I believe, yeah, we head over back to where do we go from here? There's a chain of events that I completely forgot about afterwards. I think from what I remember, Amanda and Kevin go over to the journalist that officially released the information, kind of, you know, putting him into a corner. He's denying like, hey, you can't prove that I was ever in contact with this rumor. You can't even talk about what we even spoke about. It's just, I found a case, I found a story, I proved it, I published it. That's all I did. What more do you want? And Amanda starts using like, hey, look, I know your previous shady connection, so here's what's gonna happen. Either I go upstairs and tell your boss right now about all the shady shit you've been having, which again are validated claims. These are real stories, but the way he's getting them, the way these are being pumped out, is not kosher. So he has an option to team up with them, sign the affidavits, basically proving to the fact that the prosecutor coerced him to release this article conveniently around the same time as the trial, so she can get this submitted. Eventually, with some push, he does give in. I know we have a scene between Rick and Erica, as Rick calls Erica over about what happened with Ted recently, and they have a nice moment between them about, like, you know, like, he just kind of longs for the old days where, like, Rick could just casually just go into her office and they can have one of their sessions. And he missed it. He misses that a lot. And he kind of only views Erica as, like, kind of his only work compatriot that he can really speak to about these sort of things. Which is very much appreciated from Erica, but again, like, she can't really be too reciprocate about it. So after that, I want to say we hit to the end of that night. I believe this is one of the things. I completely forgot what else happened. But Kevin drops off the affidavits to Ted, just confirming that, yes, we got the guy to admit, and this should assist you in getting that piece of evidence inadmissible into the trial, which Ted also tells him that the producer didn't come to the thing because he was running late or he didn't want to come. It was because Ted was hiding him to gain that extra day of research to knock out that claim from the record. So it definitely worked out, and he even invites Kevin in to kind of, you know, review his case so far, like what he was going to speak about in court the next couple of days. I think from there we cut to the next morning. Kevin's already in one of the floors unoccupied, but Erica shows up to kind of get to her own personal work. This is actually the first time they were in a scene together, so they josh around for a little bit until Kevin asks her, "Hey, look, I'm gonna ask you something point blank. I've been reviewing everything for the case, trying to make sure there's no more funny business with this guy. He does find a what does he find? He finds a I forgot 100% what the hell happened here. He found this when he originally got arrested by the police, like his statement, his first statement on the record. It sounded super scripted. It didn't really sound like someone naturally was going to be speaking while they were in this very fearful moment. And so he's been looking for the entire record, all the existing movies and TV scripts. He cannot find a match to anything on record so far. So since Erica is the entertainment lawyer to kind of assist him on him, which she does agree to, taking the files into her own hand, meeting up with Leia after she went for a swarm of celebrity guest name dropping that again we'll probably never see on the show. In which Erica kind of asks her like, "Do you know this line? Do you know anything about it?" And she's like, "Nope. I know all of his movies, and this doesn't seem like one of them, and it doesn't seem like anything familiar for me to even catch up on." So that's another dead end for Erica on that regard. Are we at the final day? I'm trying to remember, to be honest with you. I can't quite recall, to be honest with you, exactly how. I know Erica does have another call with well, no, doesn't have another call. She goes straight to Rick, seeing his first place. Again, I don't know how these people are just walking in. There's no visitor pass or anything. Again, there's got to be some sort of contingency that like, oh yeah, the firm that we basically, shuttered out for the larger scheme of things, just let them in. It's fine. That's the least they can do. Just like chime in whenever they feel like it. If that was the case, I'm like, damn. So she goes over with Rick about the script and about the line, seeing if he can like recognize any of it, and he does confirm it because he has worked with him for plenty of times in the past on the entertainment side of things. And he does confirm, yeah, that was one of his unpublished scripts. He never got it made, but like, yeah, no, I read it. I think me and him are the only two people who has read it officially. So if this is something he was using and he quoting, then like, yeah, that's directly from his source. So this kind of paints into culpability that his original story to the police may not be 100% accurate, and especially to his claim of innocence right now. So this kind of confirms it. They both pay a visit to Kevin, show him the proof that like, yeah, no, this was very much a self-sorted script that had no other watchers of it. So definitely 100% this is definitely something that he used to his advantage, and Kevin's like, okay, well, I will pick it up from here. However, this does not really look good. This does not look good, to be honest with you. I believe we cut to the next day of the case where that's when Ted and Amanda immediately pitched their argument against what the prosecutor was trying, and even the prosecutor even looks at herself like, shit, they found out. And as much as the affidavit does confirm her shadiness, she does comment like, well, again, I said it before, this is already a published article. It's already out there. People are going to be reading it. The jurors probably already read it because they're, the curiosity bites the cat sometimes. So with this is just very much like it kind of proves this though, like, yeah, though the jurors can read it whenever they want. This whole definitely influences their decision. So 100% I should be able to admit this evidence into court because again, they're going to know about it. They're going to want to know what's going on with it. This could make or break a honest to God deliberation. So this was needed, and sadly, while the judge does side with Amanda, saying that this is morally unethical, technically there's nothing illegal about it. So technically, he will allow this admitted into the trial, which again was not the need they needed. As well as at the same time, they were trying to also pretend why the producer wasn't here, why he wasn't at the court yesterday, and they managed to buy it off. And even by the time the three of them have an argument together, even the prosecutor said, hey, look, you've done some shady stuff too just now. Like, I can probably do my own diligent research and I can confirm he wasn't there. I won't do it. So, listen, it is what it is. I'm going to get myself admitted into court. And so either if you want to fight this, okay, then I'll leak your stuff too. So you best watch what exactly you're trying to leak. So sadly, that doesn't really go anywhere between them. I want to say this is where we finally get to the first real interrogation with now the wife on the stand, because again she was already there and that she's so far what everyone's mindset is on right now, and yeah, it doesn't go the way you think. I don't know what I was trying to brass there, but essentially no. So immediately she tries trying to like remind people like, but you said you were going to divorce him. You said you were going to divorce him, and then all of a sudden it changed. So it's like, and all of a sudden you also got promised a big movie role. So I'm like, yeah, no, you got bribed. You were you're not here loyally. You're just here because of a bribe, because of an agreement you made. After your original spoken conversation, even bringing up to the fact that she did accuse him of being the one that murdered him, of everything. And, you know, she's trying to argue. Ted's trying to, like, you know, interject things, but sadly the damage is already done. She already kind of painted her as a different sort of beast. So that doesn't really help them out at that point in the case. So that sadly concludes the day in trial for the time being. I'm trying to remember what else. Was there anything else that happened beforehand? I know we got back to the flashbacks. I know Kevin has a one-on-one with Samantha, trying to, you know, again, like take her out of the house, make sure that Ted has enough time to kind of, you know, be able to like decorate and get everything ready for the proposal. They have a little joshing around moment again, you know, even briefly getting scared that, oh, maybe Samantha might not be wanting to get married, but she said, no, I want to get married, and, you know, but I don't want to force Ted to do it. I want him to do it naturally, which again, Kevin knowing in his mind, like, oh yeah, it's happening naturally, baby. It really is. And I know, just to wrap up the flashback portion of it, Ted is getting the proposal ready. He's rehearsing the movements and everything. However, he gets a knock on the door from Kevin, who says that the impersonator that they hired to get the original con guy to flip has sadly just been murdered by the cartel. So because of Ted's actions, an innocent man was brought into the middle of it, and he was killed. So yeah, not quite the mindset you want to have before you drop the big question. Not really what you want to, what you really want to happen. So from there, I'm going to say, where we go from here. I know we're wrapping it up right now. I'm just trying to remember exactly the order of things. First, yeah, Kevin doesn't tell Ted about the falsification just quite yet. I know Rick and Erica have a very sweet moment together. They're having dinner together. Again, kind of going back to what Rick's comment was, like, he misses the old days. He misses when, like, you know, Ted and Stuart were best friends, and then, you know, everyone's on the same team together. He missed those days greatly. He really, really does. So this little nice dinner, let's say, is very much all that he needs to, like, you know, be a little bit more happy, reminded of the good time, them joshing around again, them kind of, you know, bonding again. Stuart does give him a call, trying to apologize for his behavior a couple days ago with Ted's present, that he should hold himself to a much more higher professional standard, that, you know, he cannot stoop down to Ted's level, and he does apologize to that, which Rick agrees to, and, you know, they cut it from there. I want to say this is the scene where, like, Erica does provide a little bit more context to why they broke up their previous arrangement, their previous relationship, over to the fact that she heard through the grapevine that, I believe that, yeah, Rick was in line for another promotion, and she kind of didn't want that to happen, so she kind of, like, had to kind of step away because of that, which Rick does understand, at least. So definitely there's still very much rooms for improvement between them, and maybe hopefully getting back together at least at some point down the margin. Yeah, don't quite think there's anything else. I know in the law terms, I know that Ted goes down to go speak to Samantha, who calls him out of everything, that she knows he falsified the doctor's note, which proved that he was not able to come to court yesterday. So yeah, she already is, like, mad at him for, like, you basically jeopardized the moral integrity of this case because of your actions. Where, yeah, even though she did it, we did not have to stoop to her level. We did not have to do it. You did that for us. And now here we are, kind of stuck playing the pieces. It is what it is. Sadly, Ted's trying to explain to her about it, but she's not listening. And they both mutually advise each other, yeah, I think it's better that we separate each other off the case, by meaning that Amanda will be taken off it and Ted will be writing solo from here on out. Which, again, is not quite what he what he needs right now, to be honest with you. It is not what he needs right now. So he calls up Samantha to thank her because he knew that she was the one who delivered the New York bagels to him. And she said, yeah, no, I knew. Yeah, it was me. But it was just meant to keep tradition alive of like before a big case that each of them have like, you know, a bagel to kind of, you know, kickstart the matter itself. And that, so, but at least, again, I'm very curious to see how they broke up, and that's, like, one of the things I was very curious about, because, like, again, Ted was just about to propose to him, and now they're not together. I understand that was a long time ago, but still, like, that's one of the things, like, I am legitimately, like, I do want to see. I'm like, how did that happen? Like, I just want to know, just how. Like, it seemed like they're still on okay-ish terms. So I'm like, what exactly happened for them to even split up in the first place, and now even all this time later to be on talking terms is like, what the heck happened? So I think that was a guarantee plus. With that regard, and to wrap it up, Kevin goes over to the producer's house, barging in there, showing him the proof that, like, hey, your statement to the police is nearly an exact carbon copy of a line in your script, which, again, never occurred. So you're going to tell the truth right now of what the hell happened, because all this game, all this walking around is over. This man has done so much in the past week that, like, yeah, he's going to get that answer. And he does admit that, yes, he did kill him. Again, Kevin just takes a step back, needs to kind of process things, as he, once again, the entire case that Ted was building has once again blown up in their faces. But how exactly are they going to respond to this? How exactly are they going to handle this? We don't quite know yet, because that was it for this week's episode of Suits LA. I enjoyed it super much. I really, really did. I want to say this is probably my favorite episode of the season so far. They definitely kind of re-engaged me with everything going on, because, again, like, as much as I said, Ted and Stuart are the core, for me, the core relationship of the show. Them having that impact moment kind of still, you know, it resonated with me that there was still progress to be made with them. And definitely it's just, like, you know, digging the moat in a very interesting way as we progress forward with them. The producer twist, I was honestly not expecting that. I mean, I never got the vibe like he was lying to them, and now that he did again, like, definitely, how does Kevin tell Ted that information? I really don't know. It's one of those, like, I don't want to be Ted right now. I don't want to be Ted. I thought we would get a short cameo from it. If we do not, we don't get that official cameo. But either way, Ted is going to have a nightmare fuel. But I'm very much engaged now to see what the heck's going to happen in that front. And, you know, beginning to kind of, you know, flesh out more of Rick and Erica, kind of getting there to that point of, like, explaining exactly 100% what happened. So we are inching along that way. We are inching along bits and pieces. But overall, like I was saying, like, I think that's definitely finally begun to win me over. The tides are turning, the hooks are in, and I cannot wait to see where the next episode is going to go. I really cannot, because Ted is literally isolated. He's alone, and literally his only real companion on their side of the desk is about to have his entire thing exposed in just a matter of hours by Kevin himself. So I really cannot wait. I really, really cannot wait. But for the time being, I'll be giving this episode 1 3/4 thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of this week's episode of Suits LA. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know down below. I would love to have the conversation with you about it. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the hopeful first season of Suits LA. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's to Do besides our Suits LA episode reviews, right now we are doing rookie episode reviews each and every Tuesdays after brand news on ABC. We would normally be doing Mad Log each and every Thursdays after brand news on CBS. And we are also doing Reacher episode reviews each and every week after brand news on Thursdays on Amazon Prime. But if you don't care about Suits LA, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode review, so stay tuned until then. Just a bit of an update. I did get confirmation that this season is only 13 episodes, so we don't have a long season ahead of us, but definitely it is going to be hopefully telling a much tighter season as a result. So I am very interested and excited about it. But again, we will touch more about that as we continue progressing throughout the next 8 weeks with the show. So I can't wait for that. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media to get updates for more. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.